In today's episode, we're talking with Grayson, who is an IT worker for his day job. At an early age, he decided he wanted to start a side hustle, so he got into short-term rentals that way. He goes over the challenges and also finding the right properties in a competitive market like Austin. Grayson's story is super interesting. He goes over how he's able to be more hands-on with his first property. We also deep dive into the specifics of how he's able to renovate a century-old house, and also how he's able to leverage the security deposit to revamp the lawn and also install other amenities like a fire pit, outdoor lighting to enhance guest experience, and also to increase bookings. This is an awesome episode, so with that being said, let's get right into it. All right, so we got Grayson Nichols here. Awesome property. He's actually at his property right now, so excited to be talking to him today. So Grayson, if you want to just kind of give us some background on what you do professionally, what you got you into starting this business, and then we can take it from there, man.
Yeah, so I have been in your class for about a year now. I think I joined last October. I work remotely. I do IT, so it's very easy to do from my laptop wherever I am, and it also gave me a lot of time to do the modules whenever I had just some downtime and stuff like that. So I did the course for about 6 months, just kind of hopped in and out, figured out the right time, looked for market that was close to where I was living here in Austin, which is actually hard because Austin kind of has some different ways of doing Airbnbs or not doing Airbnbs. But hopped on Zillow, started filling out the spreadsheet with all the metrics on there, and the first property that I kind of flagged was the one that I actually ended up doing. The owner had just got done renovating it. It's like a 100-year-old house. And so they had just put all of their money into the roof and the floors, getting like a brand new air conditioner unit. And so they were needing somebody to come in and furnish it and do everything with it. So it actually went really, really well. And it's been going well now. We've been live since July. It's been slowly picking up, and October is currently our busiest month. We've got about 75% of this month booked out, so it's been great.
That's awesome, man. So let's kind of talk about, let's take a step back a little bit, right? So you joined, in October 2020, was it 2022? So what were some like the biggest struggles that you faced, and how did you overcome those? Obviously every business, anything that we start brand new is going to have some roadblocks. So, what are some of those things that you faced, and then how did you overcome those?
Yeah. So first of all, I kind of wanted a property that was close to where I lived, like kind of within an hour, so I could go check on it, kind of do everything on my own, because it was my first one. I think it definitely would have been possible, like if I didn't live near, to set it up, but because it was my first one, I wanted to be hands-on with it. So I kind of had to broaden my radius a little bit because Austin has some different rules. And so I found this property that was in a smaller town outside of Austin. And one of the first things was lawn wasn't super up to date because nobody had lived here for a while. So lawn needed a lot of work. It's interesting because I was actually able to negotiate. One of the things that you teach in your course is trying to use that security deposit as just money that you can reinvest into the house. And so I was actually able to get the landlord to agree to let me use that. I think it was $2,300 to revamp the lawn. We brought in gravel. We dug out a fire pit back here and just totally made it look brand new. And then the only other thing was getting the insurance figured out, because the owner it was within their rights. They wanted to make sure that everything was covered, but proper insurance, they did a fantastic job. I think you recommend those guys. But yeah, once we got that figured out, it took us like 2 months, so a little bit longer than I would have liked, but it really gave us a good pacing to kind of get everything up and going. And then once we got our professional photos uploaded, another one of your great recommendations, we were good to go.
People might not know this, but Grayson's actually at his Airbnb, so we might have him give us a little house tour here in a second. So, that's awesome stuff, dude. Your property, I'm looking at your listing right now. The photos turned out great. Property has a lot of character. So what are some ways that some tactics or, strategies that you use to convince the landlord to, sublease it to you? Because a lot of times people think about, this Airbnb arbitrage, and, a lot of these landlords don't even know what that is. They think they might be getting scammed. So how did you earn that trust of the landlord? And then how did you, ultimately convince them to let you sublease their property?
Yeah. So I gave her a phone call. She was listed on Zillow as the owner, and I followed your script. You don't really come right out and say, hey, I'm really interested in having this on Airbnb, on VRBO. I started out by saying, hey, I'm a small business owner. I I turn properties into beautiful homes for traveling professionals or families. And she was very just open to hear me out from the beginning. But I think what really helped is I was willing to actually meet her here and kind of just walk through everything. She was able to see that I was a real person. I think I represented myself well, and I was very complimentary of the house. She'd done a lot of hard work on it. And one of the things that I told her is that one of the benefits to this model is I would be cleaning this property often. It would be clean almost all the time because it's my business and my reputation on the line. She would be able to hop in whenever she wanted to check on it and see how things are doing. So I think one, just being very transparent with my intentions, then just offering her as much freedom as she would like to check on things. And she's really just kind of let me run everything. She knows that I'm taking care of this house, and she loves hearing how all of our guests they've loved this house. So that's been fun for her to kind of see those come in.
Yeah, no, for sure. One thing that I really like about the property is the backyard. Obviously the house itself has a ton of character. So will the internet completely bug out if you go and kind of show the backyard area?
We can try. We'll see. It's been a little bit rainy, so there might be a little bit of mud, but we'll see if we can do it here.
Yeah, this is a first for sure. But if you're there already, we gotta take advantage. But while you're walking over there, so obviously you did a perfect job where you go and talk to the landlord, earn the trust of them. One of the things that a lot of people kind of struggle with is they don't know how to run the numbers properly, right? So when you ran the numbers for this property, and obviously our team kind of helps solidify that the numbers are correct. But how did you make sure that the numbers that you ran prior to signing the lease, so that you knew that was going to cash flow after you go live?
The only thing I didn't really know about was going to be the utilities and kind of how much they would be on average. And so I actually asked what the owner's bills had been for the past couple of months and kind of got an average, and then estimated a little bit because nobody had been living here, but I figured it wouldn't be that much of a difference. I estimated a certain maybe 50% higher or something like that. And then I actually just, all the internet, pest control, those are all costs that you can get up front before you even sign anything. And so that was a really easy way to kind of just make sure I had all the numbers right. And then I was able to see what cut Airbnb and VRBO take out of everything. Actually, let me get my shoes on since I'm about to go outside. Sorry. This is our kitchen, by the way. So we've got everything already cleaned up here. And a lot of our guests have commented how they look just like the photos. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. But let me know if it starts to drop out here. This is one of the first areas that we put out here. We installed this little gravel area with a table out here. We've got a grill here up against the house. I don't know if you can see any of this. Is it coming through?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. And we got the fire pit out here with our string lights up there. All the guests have really enjoyed that. But that's another thing that we installed out here because it was just, it's just grass back here. Was there anything else you wanted to see? I can keep walking around if you want.
No. Yeah, you can go back inside. But let's talk about what was the reasoning behind the fire pit and also, the string lights, right? Because I think because a lot of people think about, setting up these Airbnbs of how would I like my house to be like? But you have to remember it from a lot of these people are coming here for vacation to get away. So, what was some of the thought process behind the fire pit and the string lights?
Yeah, well, part of it is, so I wanted to make my property stand out. Part of it is you want your property to do well against the other ones that are similar in the area. And I was kind of looking at all the top performers in the area, and a lot of them had kind of social areas where everyone could gather, and a fire pit was a really easy way to do that. We also have a balcony on the second level, and I put a seating area there as well. But fire pits are super popular in this area. Almost all of the high performing houses in this area have those, or just have some sort of area where everyone can hang out. And we weren't on a waterfront. We don't have a pool in the backyard. So I decided that was the next easiest thing to kind of add to our amenities. And then everyone just loves outdoor string lights. So those were a must-have. Super easy, super cheap. So that was one of the ways that we just kind of added value to our house.
Yeah, look, a lot of good things that you touched on there. Number one, studying what the top performers are doing. The saying goes, don't fix what isn't broken. And then, another thing that I think your property does really well that's going to be hard to replicate is that it's this really old, but not it doesn't look, run down, but it's a really classy looking old property where it's going to be hard for other, people to come in and, kind of take up that market share for you because of how unique your property looks. So I think that's in and of itself, the house itself, is a differentiator. So, really, awesome job on on that.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a really, I think part of it also is the area. So something else that I was looking at to sort of advertise this was, okay, we're not on a waterfront, so I need something else to add value to this property. What's something that's going to make me want to come be here? So if you can't have a natural attraction there, look for a good, this is just my advice, but the area and proximity to the downtown area was huge. I mean, I can see downtown out the front door, and we've actually had a number of our guests comment that, hey, I just walked over to this coffee shop, or hey, we just walked over and got some pizza. We even had a guest comment that you don't even need a car if you're going to be here because everything is so close and so walkable. So that was another big aspect of it. And then the house, even without anything in it, is beautiful. I mean, it's over 100 years old. It's got this cool, like, old fashioned, but people really appreciate that. So
yeah, I think, something that a lot of people don't talk about, especially with arbitrage, right? Because a lot of these places, like, they don't really go out on for sale that often, right? The only way that you would be able to, secure a property like yours is, once in a blue moon when a property like this, comes listed for rent. And then a lot of times these properties need a lot of work too. But the reason I love the arbitrage models is that a lot of these people, they have super old loans, they might not even have a loan on these old houses. And so it's all paid off. So these people, they want to rent out their properties, earn some income. And then that way, you can do the arbitrage model on their property. Like a minute walk to downtown is a great differentiator, so that you don't have to worry about a bunch of competition, because there's not going to be a lot of places that are going to be able to replicate what you have. So really love that you're thinking about it from different angles even before signing the lease here. But what is the cash flow numbers looking like on this specific property?
Yeah, so in July and a little bit of August, we were pretty low because we didn't have any footing in the area, but that's to be expected. So we kind of factor that into our initial budget, which part of that was a business credit card that we got that had a year with no interest. So we actually put the first 2 months rent on the card, but then after that we started getting bookings. I think September was 1,000 in profits, and then October it just exploded. We've got almost $3,500 in profit for October, and then we've already got some on the way for November, December, and then we even have some as far out as next April. So it's definitely growing. That's the benefit of a smaller area, is you have less of competition. And so once you kind of gain a reputation as a house that people enjoy, that can host a big group easily, they just start coming in. So I'm super excited about these next couple of months as well.
So what are your goals for the next, coming up 6 months to a year, let's call it? What are some of your goals that you're just trying to accomplish here?
Yeah, we still want to do a lot of work on the outside, just kind of make it more pretty out there, add a couple more plants here and there to the landscaping. I added that griddle in September, so that wasn't here when we went live originally, but I actually need to add a picture of that. I want to add a couple more photos. I want to get a photo of our fire pit when it's actually active. We want to add some string lights to our balcony on the second floor so that people can hang out there in the evening, and then also add that onto the listing. And we've also been asking kind of our first 10 guests kind of what they would add to the property. And we've had people say, oh, you can add some grab bars in the shower because it's kind of high off the ground. And people have been very, very helpful in adding or like recommending things to just kind of add to the value. And then again, just getting as many 5-star reviews, because I think I just missed the cutoff for Superhost for Airbnb because you have to have 10 guests on there. Surprisingly, the majority of our bookings have actually been through VRBO. So that's a super good thing if you're not getting a lot of bookings and it's only listed on Airbnb. We actually just got another booking for December.
So, there you go.
But yeah, so definitely looking into both platforms to just kind of maximize those 5 stars, just kind of building the reputation for the first year.
Love that you're taking a long-term approach at this, reinvesting back into the property. That's what we do for a lot of our properties. We always kind of every 6 months to a year, we kind of take a look at, okay, which amenities can we add? What are some like things that we can do to improve, bookings, and also asking guests, right? Because they're the ones that were actually in the place that can give you that, real-time feedback, and listening to that is only going to make it a better experience for guests in the future. So I love that you're doing that. So I know you're busy. To wrap this up, what would you say to someone that's either considering to start their own business? What piece of advice would you have to that person?
Yeah, I think it's really important to have a long-term goal in mind. I think that's that seems obvious, but when you're getting in obviously you say that it's definitely doable within a couple of weeks, and it definitely is doable. I think we decided to take our time and just to not be discouraged by that, because it can also just add to your experience. The more that you catch up front, things like, oh, I should fix that, or I should add this, the less that you have to add on later, and just like the more that you'll learn. Like I said, I plan to have this for at least 2 years, and I'm not expecting to be able to retire off of that. I'm definitely going to just use this to funnel into hopefully whatever my next property looks like. Having a long-term vision, having some checkpoints along the way is going to be super key to be successful with this business model.
I love the outlook. I appreciate the time, man. Thanks for the insights that you shared. And yeah, excited for people to hop on here and see this.
Yeah. Thank you, Preston. I really appreciate all this.
Yeah, dude. Take care. See ya.